Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel before we get started. Today we will be doing an election prediction, the middle of the month election prediction between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. But first I'd like to tell you guys about my friends over at Noble Gold. So with the election less than a month away now, it's time to take a step back. The political uncertainty could be devastating for your retirement fund if it's not handled properly, and I think you'd agree, whatever the outcome, things are going to be rough for a while. If you're worried about your finances taking a hit, you should look at protecting your savings, especially your hard-earned retirement fund. A gold IRA uses the value of precious metals to keep you out of trouble, and the team at Noble Gold knows how to do this, and they've done it for thousands of people before you. Don't let a sudden stock market or banking crisis wipe out your finances, and if you need an extra reason to jump on this, Noble Gold is gifting a 10th-ounce solid gold American Eagle proof coin with every qualifying IRA or 401k rollover going through in October. Grab the phone and give Noble Gold a call now. There isn't much time left. The number is 877-646-5347 or submit a request from the link in the description. And today we're going to be going over our updated 2020 presidential election prediction because this is going to be a dogfight. This is going down the wire. Everybody knows it. The Biden campaign doesn't believe the national polling average. This is going to be a tough fight for no matter who wins it. It is going to go down the wire. It probably won't even be called on election night, partially due to mail-in voting. So it is important that we fill out this map here between Trump and Joe Biden. We'll start with the likelier states and safer states, and then we'll move to the closer states as the prediction goes on. So Virginia and Colorado, these are going to be safe blue this cycle. It is possible the margin is below 10, but Trump really has no shot at winning them. New Mexico is also really not that much in play. The vote by mail looks fairly good for Republicans so far, but at the same time, I really don't expect them to have much of a chance to pull it out. I do expect New Mexico to be in the likely Democrat column or so. So Democrats already are starting off the bat with 210 electoral votes, and Joe Biden does have a very high floor in this election. However, I do expect Donald Trump to win some states as well in the likely column. Ohio is a big one, and we're going to be analyzing mail-in voting data. Again, TargetSmart is not perfect. It doesn't really gauge it correctly 100%. But if this holds up anywhere close to where it is, and you can compare this to the 2016 data, and Republicans are looking in much better shape this cycle, Republicans are leading the mail-in voting and in-person voting so far. And if that's the case, I would believe Republicans are in a fairly good place in the state of Ohio. And I also do believe that the state of Iowa will be in the likely Republican column. The vote by mail data does not necessarily look as favorable for Republicans as it does in the state of Ohio. However, a lot of Iowa, again, is going to be voting on Election Day, and I would expect Donald Trump to pull it off based off polling errors that have gone back to 2014, as well as trends and demography in rural areas. I would expect Iowa to stay in the likely Republican column. Another state I believe is going to go likely Republican is the state of Texas. A lot of the mail-in voting is looking fairly favorable for Republicans out of the state of Texas. A lot of the early vote and the mail-in vote Republicans do have a lead. If that is the case, if they maintain that lead, they will win big on election night. I would expect Texas to go for Trump now by around 5 to 6 percentage points or so. That's roughly what I would expect. So again, that's another likely state that's very important for Trump to get in his column because it gets him closer off the bat to 200 electoral votes, 187 to 210. I also believe Donald Trump will take Maine's 2nd district. He won it by 10 points last time. The polls really underestimated him last time. I would take the bet that they're doing the same thing in Maine's 2nd, so I really do think Maine's 2nd is going to go for Trump, probably by around 6 to 7 points, even if there is a little bit of a pendulum bounce back into the Democrat column up there. I still think Donald Trump has a very, very good shot at holding Maine 2nd. I also believe that Maine at large is going to be in the likely Democrat column. I did forget to put that in the likely column, but now it is important that we go over the lean Democrat states, starting with the state of Nevada. Again, Trump is going to Nevada. He's contesting Nevada. It's kind of been a white whale for Republicans for a few cycles now. And polling typically does actually overestimate the Republicans. I don't know if they're really doing it this cycle. I really wouldn't really bet on it based on a lot of the nonsensical data that we've seen that just contradicts all data that we've seen in existence in terms of registration trends and things like the mail-in voting data. I do believe that Nevada is going to go for Biden, probably by around 3 points or so. I don't think Trump should spend too much energy there, but that is a state I believe will go in the lean Democrat Democrat column, as well as the state of Minnesota. I believe Minnesota is going to go in the lean Democrat column as well. I think Donald Trump may do better in the rural part of the state. He may do better in the Iron Range, although I would still expect a little suburban swing against him in the Twin Cities area, the Minneapolis suburbs. Although because of the civil unrest, you may see a buck of that trend, but there's not really a whole enough data to make that clear determination right now. The mail-in data looks similar to 2016 in a lot of the suburban areas, which could be a good thing for Trump, but still I would expect a little bit of a surge against him in the Twin Cities. So as of right now, I will be putting Minnesota in the lean Democrat column. So now it's important that we go through and do the lean Republican states. There's going to be a few of them here. Georgia, if you want to look at the mail-in voting data out of the state of Georgia, you can look at this here. Republicans are doing fairly well in terms of the mail-ins and the early in-person vote. The early in-person vote is likely to favor Republicans a little bit. The mail-in voting is obviously going to heavily favor Democrats. And again, this data is not perfect, and if it was, Republicans would just swamp the Democrats on election day. But it does seem like even if the Democrats had a 200 to 300,000 vote lead in terms of the mail-ins, in terms of the early in-person ballots returned, that Republicans would be able to win easily in the state of Georgia for that reason alone, as well as many others. I will be putting Georgia in the lean Republican column. I think Donald Trump is going to win it by around 3 to 4 percentage points in the state of Georgia. The other state I will be putting in the lean Republican column is the state of North Carolina. North Carolina, I will be putting in the lean Republican column. Again, you could look at the mail-in voting out of the state of North Carolina, and it does look very good for Democrats on paper, but when you take into account how many Democrats are going to be voting by mail and the fact that Democrats only have a lead there of around 250,000 votes or so, that's not going to be enough. We will have to wait and see until a lot more of the in-person vote does come in. A lot of the vote that we've seen so far have been mail-in absentees, which are going to favor Democrats heavily. The in-person vote is going to be a little bit more favorable for the Republicans, so we're going to be able to make a clear determination much closer to Election Day. But as of right now, I will be putting North Carolina in the lean Republican column. So now we have a few states to call left on this map. A lot of them are Rust Belt states, as well as Florida, Arizona, and Nebraska second. Nebraska second, the mail-in data looks better for Republicans this time around than it did last time around. That is a very good sign for Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is going to hold on to Nebraska's second district extremely narrowly, but I do believe he is going to hold on to it. So 228 to 220. The state of Florida is another one where you have in-person early voting starting next week. We're going to know a lot more by then, but the registration data, the final registration data, Republicans last time were down by 300,000 in the registrations, or 400,000. That's cut down to like 150,000 or so. So it's going to be difficult for Democrats to win with the surge of registrations, particularly in places like Miami-Dade County. We talk about Donald Trump combining his Panhandle and I-4 coalition with DeSantis's Miami-Dade and Collier County coalition. And if he's able to do that, which I do believe he will, he could win it by around 2 points or so. I believe he'll win Florida by 1 to 2 when it's all said and done. And the mail-in voting data doesn't necessarily look like it's insurmountable yet, and the in-person early voting hasn't started, which a lot of polls have consistently shown that they will favor Republicans. So I do believe that Donald Trump is going to win in the state of Florida. So he's already got 249 electoral votes. Trump could get to 269 with just Pennsylvania, but I'm going to be filling the map out. We'll go east to west here. New Hampshire, again, this is a state where a lot of the polling looks terrible for Trump. The mail-in data doesn't look good for him either. But again, there's a lot more factors than just that. You do have to look at the fact that a lot of what New Hampshire is colleges, and a lot of those colleges are closed down. In a state where Trump only lost by 3,000 votes, you'd think Trump would have a fairly good shot. Again, there's a very pro-Trump governor that is very popular up there in Chris Sununu. But I don't believe Trump is going to win the state of New Hampshire. I think we're going to have to put New Hampshire in the tilt Democrat column. The state of Pennsylvania, a lot of red flags up in Pennsylvania for Trump. Biden is spending a lot of time and energy on Pennsylvania. Trump is down in the polling from Trafalgar. Trump is down in the polling from Barris. And even though registrations look good for Republicans, the mail-in voting data out of Pennsylvania, it does look abysmal so far. Now, it is true Republicans will come out and vote on Election Day, and that gap will easily be closed, a lot of it, but that is a very big margin. And right now, I don't feel as confident in Pennsylvania as I felt in my last prediction, especially with Biden spending all of his time there, all of his resources. He's trying to hold Pennsylvania. I think Pennsylvania narrowly, as a result, is going to go for Joe Biden. But the state of Michigan and the state of Wisconsin, the mail-in data so far looks great for Republicans in these states. And people will ask the questions, why necessarily does the mail-in data look so good in Michigan and Wisconsin compared to Pennsylvania? Well, it's really for two reasons. One is because Target Smart's data may be a little bit off because Michigan and Wisconsin don't register by party. And the other reason is because Governor Wolf's system in Pennsylvania has been under a lot of scrutiny. A lot of people on the Republican side are questioning potential fraud. And Michigan, the mail-in voting data looks very good for Republicans. I would expect a Democrat crater again in turnout in Detroit City. And I really do believe that even though Dems will make gains in places like Oakland County, I expect Republicans to maintain gains and possibly improve on them in the rural part of the state. Trafalgar, which nailed 2016 in Michigan, has Donald Trump winning the state of Michigan. As for Wisconsin, Waukesha County voting looks incredible in terms of the early vote compared to last time. A lot of that has to do with more establishmentarian Republicans warming up to Trump, coming on board. So the early vote in Michigan and Wisconsin looks fairly good for Trump. I do believe Donald Trump is going to win narrowly Michigan, and out of nowhere again, he will narrowly win the state of Wisconsin. So he's already at 275. That just leaves us Arizona. We could look at the mail-in voting out of Arizona. Remember, in the primary, Republicans were not supposed to get more votes than Democrats, but they did anyways. They outperformed expectations. Right now, in terms of the mail-in and early in-person ballots returned, Republicans are not trailing too far behind the Democrats. It's a very good sign for Arizona. A lot of the people I've spoken to on the ground do expect Donald Trump to narrowly carry Arizona. I do believe he will. I think Maricopa is going to be an extremely close county. Even if Donald Trump does lose it, I still would expect him to maintain his gains in places like Pinal and places like Navajo and Yavapai counties. So I would expect him to narrowly carry Arizona. I do not expect McSally to carry it, but I do expect Trump to by the skin of his teeth. And I do expect Donald Trump to win this election as of right now because a lot of the data metrics look very good for Trump, especially if this holds. So this could change, but as of right now, I do expect Donald Trump to win this election 286 to 252, despite what a lot of these national media pundits and polls have been telling you. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media, become a member, donate to the Patreon, or subscribe. Star links in description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.